As I was walking towards the restaurant, I noticed a woman in a chef's outfit with a serious expression heading my way. I was curious about what she wanted to talk to me about. Her name was Freja Thompson, and she worked in advertising, just like me. We both put a lot of effort into making ads better, and although it's not easy, it's satisfying work. Freja shared that she's 33 years old and happily married to her husband Henrik, who's a year older than her. They've been married for a year and make a great team, sharing household chores and supporting each other. They first met at work, and over time, their professional relationship blossomed into a personal one. Freja realized she had feelings for Henrik, and after some nerves, she confessed, and they started dating. Eventually, they got married. Before tying the knot, Henrik disclosed that he had been married before and divorced. His previous marriage lasted about a year, and they didn't have children. It seemed like Henrik had some regrets about his past, but Freja didn't let that affect their relationship. Their married life started off happy, but Freja began to notice some challenges related to Henrik's previous marriage. They moved into an apartment near their workplaces, and Henrik's parents were nearby, too. Despite some initial worries about living close to family, everything seemed to be going well. However, due to their busy schedules, Freja and Henrik didn't have much time together during the week, so they cherished their weekends. Both Freja and Henrik enjoyed cooking together on weekends, but dining out wasn't always easy for Freja because she had developed an allergy to certain fruits. Even a tiny bit of these fruits could cause her skin to react badly. This allergy was a surprise to her since she used to enjoy fruits without any problems. Once, after eating strawberries, she had a scary reaction that made it hard for her to breathe. Now, she's cautious about what she eats, always checking for hidden fruit ingredients, which makes dining out stressful. Despite this, Freja and Henrik find joy in cooking at home and spending time together, making the most of their weekends. When I found out about my allergy to rosacea fruits, it felt like a punch to the gut. Suddenly, I couldn't enjoy some of my favorite foods like strawberries, apples, pears, and peaches anymore. It was heartbreaking to have reactions after eating foods I thought were safe, only to discover they contained allergens. This made me wary of dining out or buying ready-made meals, adding stress to my life. During meals with my husband, I became overly cautious, constantly checking ingredients. It made me feel guilty for putting him through that, but I couldn't relax without making sure the food was safe. Cooking together with him became a comforting routine that eased my worries a bit. Luckily, both my husband and his parents were understanding of my allergies. My mother-in-law, especially, went above and beyond to make sure meals were safe for me. She knew firsthand the seriousness of allergies because of her father's severe wheat allergy. She always took extra precautions, researching my allergy and ensuring everything was safe when we dined together. My relationship with my in-laws, especially my mother-in-law, blossomed, and they treated me like family. However, despite their kindness, I still had reservations about dining out. When my promotion at work earned me a celebration invitation to a fancy restaurant, I hesitated. The thought of visiting the luxurious hotel and tasting their delicacies excited me, but the fear of my allergy held me back. My mother-in-law's insistence on treating me warmed my heart, but I couldn't shake off the worry. I remember dreaming of trying their fruit-filled tart before my allergy developed. Even though dishes without rosacea fruits would be safe for me, the risk of cross-contamination in the kitchen scared me. In the end, despite the allure of the upscale restaurant and my mother-in-law's generosity, I couldn't bring myself to accept. The thought of inconveniencing the restaurant staff with my dietary restrictions weighed heavily on me. So, I politely declined, grateful for the gesture but choosing my safety and peace of mind above all else. I made the decision to decline the offer to dine at the fancy restaurant due to my worries about having an allergic reaction. However, my mother-in-law was enthusiastic about the idea and assured me she would inform the restaurant about my allergy when making the reservation. She even mentioned having a connection there that would ensure we were taken care of. I was surprised by this revelation, since neither she nor my husband had ever mentioned it before. Nonetheless, I trusted her judgment and agreed to have lunch there together. Feeling reassured by my mother-in-law's consideration, I looked forward to the meal without any lingering concerns. When I told my husband about the plan and how his mother had taken precautions regarding my allergies, he was relieved and encouraged me to enjoy myself, seeing it as a celebration of my promotion. On the anticipated day, I took a half-day off from work and dressed up more formally than usual, eager to experience the upscale restaurant. As I entered the hotel lobby, I found my mother-in-law waiting for me, and together we made our way to the restaurant. Thanks to our reservation, we were promptly seated, although we were informed that there might be a slight delay in serving due to the lunchtime rush. While waiting, we decided to indulge in some drinks, and I opted for champagne, feeling the excitement of the occasion. As we chatted, I couldn't help but notice the mouth-watering dishes being served at nearby tables, adding to my anticipation. Suddenly, my phone rang, interrupting the moment. Realizing I had forgotten to silence it, I excused myself to take the call, hoping it wasn't anything urgent. Stepping outside, I was relieved to find it was just a work-related query, which I quickly addressed before returning to the table. Despite the brief interruption, I remained in high spirits, eagerly awaiting the arrival of our meal. Little did I know that the rest of the day would unfold in unexpected ways, shaping my perspective on celebrations, connections, and the importance of being prepared for the unexpected. As I was about to switch off my phone to fully immerse myself in the meal, an unfamiliar woman approached me with a sense of urgency. She identified me as the customer who had made a reservation for that day's meal. Dressed in chef attire and appearing slightly flustered, she seemed troubled. Despite my confusion, I entertained her questions, but her demeanor grew even more serious. She urgently advised me to leave the hotel immediately, citing danger and the need for my safety. Skeptical of her sudden alarm, I pressed for clarification. When I grasped the gravity of the situation, a wave of dread washed over me. Without hesitation, I hailed a taxi and made my way home. Later that evening, my mother-in-law called, her tone fraught with anger and disappointment. She expressed her fury at my abrupt departure without explanation, especially after she had arranged a special celebration. Her words stung, and I couldn't reconcile the harshness of her tone with the gentle person I had known. It was a side of her I had never witnessed before, leaving me shaken and questioning. Her relentless scolding, even delving into criticisms about my upbringing, left me feeling small and inadequate. In the midst of her tirade, I dared to pose a question, seeking clarity on her assurance that the restaurant had been informed about my allergies. To my horror, she admitted that she had failed to communicate this crucial detail during the reservation. Consequently, the meal prepared that day contained ingredients to which I was severely allergic, posing a grave risk to my health. The chef who had approached me had noticed the allergy badge on my bag and, out of concern, had checked the ingredients. Their vigilance saved me from a potentially dangerous situation. Reflecting on this turn of events, I couldn't help but feel a mix of relief and betrayal. My trust in my mother-in-law's assurances had been shattered, and the consequences could have been dire if not for the chef's intervention. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. If it hadn't been for the intervention of the chef, I would have unwittingly consumed food containing allergens, triggering a severe reaction. Initially, I couldn't fathom the idea that my mother-in-law would purposefully endanger me like that. However, the urgency and seriousness of the chef's warning convinced me otherwise. As I reflected on the situation, a shocking revelation unfolded. The woman who had warned me was none other than Saga Young, my husband's ex-wife, who now worked under a different name. She recognized me with my mother-in-law and deduced that I was the new wife. Her decision to help me stemmed from her own experiences of mistreatment at the hands of my mother-in-law, when she lived with my husband's family. Saga had initially believed, like many others, that my mother-in-law was gentle and kind. However, upon closer interaction, she faced relentless criticism and mistreatment, especially when my husband or father-in-law wasn't around. Despite her culinary skills honed from attending a professional cooking school, Saga found herself constantly belittled and demeaned by my mother-in-law. She contemplated discussing her grievances with my husband, but she knew my mother-in-law's ability to manipulate situations and feared her complaints would fall on deaf ears. Feeling trapped and unable to gather evidence of her mistreatment, Saga eventually escaped through divorce and sought employment at the restaurant, where she flourished as a chef. However, my mother-in-law discovered her whereabouts and began frequenting the restaurant, discreetly threatening her for discounts and occasionally yielding to past traumas. When I confronted my mother-in-law about why she hadn't communicated my allergies to the restaurant, she feigned ignorance and shifted the blame onto the staff. I saw through her facade, knowing that the restaurant had stringent guidelines on allergies and recorded calls for dispute resolutions. Confronted with this evidence, my mother-in-law fell silent. Her actions left me baffled and hurt, as she had always been cautious about my allergies until now. Seeking an explanation, I confronted her, only to be met with defiant silence. The rift in our relationship widened as I grappled with the realization that someone I trusted implicitly had betrayed me in such a callous manner. The depth of betrayal I felt was beyond words as my mother-in-law, Saga, lashed out with venomous accusations and threats. Her envy, fueled by my success at work and my popularity in the neighborhood, had festered into a desire to see me suffer. Her arrogant claims that no one would believe me were shattered by the evidence I had meticulously collected to expose her true nature. With my parents and husband, Henrik, by my side, I confronted her with the damning recordings of her intentions to expose me to allergens deliberately. Henrik's shock and anger were palpable as he denounced her actions and cut ties with her without hesitation. The realization that the person he had trusted had such malicious intentions left him devastated. Saga's desperate attempts to backtrack and make excuses only fueled Henrik's fury, leading to a swift decision to divorce her and evict her from their home. Left with no support and no income, she pleaded and cried, clinging to any semblance of security she could find. Despite Henrik's final act of pity, providing her with a basic apartment and initial rent payment, she continued to spiral into desperation. Her attempts to extort money from us were met with stern resistance, and we drove her away, insisting she earn her keep. Rumors circulated of her struggles to adapt to a life of independence, a far cry from the comfort and control she had enjoyed as a housewife. Despite her hardships, we remained resolute in our decision to keep her out of our lives. As for her motives, it became clear that her jealousy and desire to assert dominance were at the root of her actions. Unable to manipulate or undermine me, she resorted to desperate measures to see me fail. Her toxic behavior, once hidden behind a facade of kindness, was exposed for all to see, leading to her ultimate downfall. In the aftermath of the confrontation, Henrik expressed regret for not recognizing his mother's bullying behavior towards his ex-wife. Despite their divorce, they found closure and peace, with Henrik apologizing for his oversight and his ex-wife reassuring him that she had moved on. With Saga out of our lives, Henrik and his father threw me a promotion party, a celebration of triumph over adversity. Surrounded by their unwavering support, I felt a renewed determination to forge ahead, unburdened by the shadow of my mother-in-law's betrayal. In the wake of the tumultuous events with my mother-in-law, life took on a renewed sense of clarity and purpose. Freed from the toxicity of her presence, I found myself embracing each day with a newfound vigor and determination. With Henrik's unwavering support and the love of my family, I delved deeper into my work, channeling my energy into achieving even greater heights of success. The promotion party thrown by Henrik and his father was not just a celebration of my professional accomplishments, but a testament to the strength of our bond as a family. As I mingled with colleagues and friends at the party, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had led me to this moment. The trials and tribulations, the moments of doubt and uncertainty, all seemed to fade away in the warm embrace of those who stood by me through it all. Amidst the laughter and chatter, I found myself drawn to Lars's ex-wife, now a dear friend and confidant. Our shared experiences had forged a bond that transcended the complexities of our pasts, and I was grateful for her friendship. Together, we navigated the intricacies of our careers, supporting each other through the challenges and celebrating each other's victories. Despite the lingering scars of our past encounters with Saga, we found solace in each other's company, united by our shared resilience and determination to thrive. In the months that followed, I threw myself wholeheartedly into my work, fueled by a renewed sense of purpose and passion. With each new project and opportunity that came my way, I seized it with gusto, confident in my abilities and unafraid to chart my own path forward. Looking back on those tumultuous days, I couldn't help but marvel at how far I had come. The journey had been fraught with challenges and obstacles, but it had also been filled with moments of triumph and growth. As I raised a glass to toast to the future, surrounded by loved ones and colleagues alike, I knew that no matter what lay ahead, I was ready to face it head-on. With Henrik by my side and a newfound sense of resilience coursing through my veins, I was ready to take on whatever the world had in store. In the aftermath of the confrontation with my mother-in-law, life settled into a rhythm of healing and rebuilding. The wounds inflicted by her betrayal ran deep, but with time and the unwavering support of my loved ones, I began to find solace and strength in the resilience of the human spirit. Henrik and I leaned on each other for support, navigating the complexities of our emotions and the fallout from cutting ties with his mother. Our bond grew stronger as we weathered the storm together, united in our determination to overcome the adversity that had threatened to tear us apart. With each passing day, I found myself embracing the opportunities for growth and self-discovery that arose from the ashes of the past. I threw myself into my work with renewed passion and purpose, finding solace in the familiar rhythms of creativity and innovation. As I immersed myself in my projects, I found that my experiences had imbued me with a newfound empathy and understanding for those facing similar challenges. I reached out to colleagues and friends, offering support and guidance to those navigating their own trials and tribulations. Outside of work, I sought out new avenues for personal growth and fulfillment, exploring hobbies and interests that had long been neglected in the tumult of daily life. From painting to hiking to cooking, I embraced each opportunity to reconnect with myself and the world around me. In the quiet moments of reflection, I found peace amidst the chaos, grateful for the lessons learned and the resilience gained through adversity. The scars of the past remained, but they served as a reminder of the strength and courage that resided within me. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, I found myself emerging from the shadows of the past, renewed and revitalized by the promise of a brighter future. With each step forward, I carried with me the lessons learned and the memories forged in the crucible of adversity, knowing that I was stronger and more resilient than I had ever imagined.